Rights come from nature and God, not from government.
All God asks of you is faithfulness.
35 years of fighting for the family, standing for the church, laboring to return to a moral and biblically based culture.
This is the American Family Association at AFA Today.
And we welcome you to Lower Manhattan of New York City. Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us on AFA Today per usual. We're always excited to have you hanging out with us as we get closer to the actual Christmas holiday. We are reminded somewhat frequently that there are a lot of people in this country who don't believe as we do. We are reminded constantly, as the Phil Robertson story kind of suggests over the last couple of days, that some people find what we believe, offensive. And we have come to a place in a realization at this point in time where we have the opportunity to, as Americans, say we are going to concede to everyone's ability to be offended, and so therefore we're going to try to not offend anyone, or we're just going to do what we believe and prayerfully and full of humility ask that tolerance be allowed to be in the same space. I want to give you just one example of how this messed with my brain today. Okay, I've been living in the Phil Robertson story. We have good news on that front, by the way. Who remembers, Mr. Brent? Who remembers yesterday who it was that was saying, "Hey, the next step that needs to..." Did I just say that like Uncle Si? Hey, who was it that was saying, "Here's what needs to happen next. The sons need to come together. They need to come together and they need to say, 'Dad, we honor you. We're going to honor the family. We're going to stand together.'" Who said that? Who said that? Who was the first person to say that in this country on public radio? Who said that, huh? You don't have an answer? Yes, of course it was me. I said, that's what they've got to do. They've got to come together. They've got to say to the world, you're not going to divide our family. You're not going to come in and peel like one little, like it's some sort of tumor on your skin. You're just going to cut that little bit out and be gone. No, we're a unit. And I thought it was great because on their website today, duckcommander.com, there is this beautiful picture of the entire family, and it includes many more members than are just in the television show, because there's a lot of family members that don't want to be on the show, and so they're not. But there's got to be, 60 people in this picture. And it's just this one big family, and they are smiling, and they are looking lovely. Very, very cool. Anyway, here's the update. And yes, Kevin McCullough got it right. That's what needed to happen. They needed to have the sons come together and say to the world, look, we're gonna hang together here. You're not gonna divide. You're not gonna peel off our patriarch and then expect to get to make money off the rest of us. And so they've issued a statement. I'll read that for you. In fact, let me get to that. Let's see if I can find it right here. Yeah, I've got it handy here. This is not a big deal. So they've come together, and Corey Robertson, who is Willie's wife, the wife of the son that runs the Duck Commander Company, she issued this in her name today, and she said proudly on the Duck Commander website, "We want to thank all of you for your prayers and support. The family has spent much time in prayer since learning of A&E's decision." By the way, that tells you a little bit about probably how they were told about this, doesn't it? This was A&E's decision, and we learned about it. In other words, they didn't tell us about it. We learned about it. "We want you to know that first and foremost, we are a family rooted in our faith in God and our belief that the Bible is His Word." And I can hear one of the women from the family saying this next line. "While some of Phil's unfiltered comments to the reporter were coarse, his beliefs were grounded in the teachings of the Bible. Phil is a godly man who follows the Bible, who follows what the Bible says are the greatest commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. Phil would never incite or encourage hate. We are disappointed that Phil has been placed on hiatus for expressing his faith, which is his constitutionally protected right. We have had a successful working relationship with A&E, but as a family, we cannot imagine the show going forward without our patriarch at the helm. We are in discussions with A&E to see what that means for the future of Duck Dynasty. Again, thank you for your continued support of our family." So there you go. The family said, you're not going to divide us. And what they're saying very, very coolly between the lines of Corey's email there is, you don't like it, we're all leaving, which is exactly what they should do. Okay, so here we have this update where the next move is for Duck Dynasty. I mean A&E. They've got to figure out what they're going to do. And by the way, that job just became harder. And let me give you an example of why that's the case. Because you may know the name Camille Paglia, but she's a fairly well-known militant lesbian feminist. And she has had some thoughts about, and she lived under Stalinist Russia, and she's also seen what has happened here. But this is her words as reported in the Daily Caller. The suspension of Phil Robertson from A&E's Duck Dynasty is outrageous. In a nation that values freedom, according to social critic and openly gay dissident feminist Camille Paglia. She says, I speak with authority here because I was openly gay before the Stonewall Rebellion, commonly thought of as the modern place of the gay rights movement. She said, when it cost you something to be so, and I personally feel as a libertarian that people have the right to free thought and free speech. She's now professor at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia. She said, in a democratic country, people have the right to be homophobic as well as have the right to support homosexuality. She said, as I do 100%, if people are basing their views against gays on the Bible, again, they have the right of religious freedom to do so. She said, to express yourself in a magazine, in an interview, this is the level of punitive PC, utterly fascist, utterly Stalinist. Okay, that my liberal colleagues in the Democratic Party and on college campuses have supported and promoted over the last several decades. This is the whole legacy of free speech in 1960s that had been lost by my own party. She went on to point out that while she is an atheist, she respects religion and has been frustrated by the intolerance of gay activists. She said, quote, I think this intolerance by gay activists towards the full spectrum of human beliefs is a sign of immaturity and juvenility. This is not the mark of a true intellectual life. This is why there is no cultural life now in the U.S., why nothing is of interest coming from the major media in terms of cultural criticism, why the graduates of Ivy League with their A+ grades are completely culturally illiterate. It is because they are not being educated in a way to give respect to opposing views. There is a dialogue going on in human civilization, for heaven's sakes. It's not just this monologue coming from the fanatics who have displaced the religious beliefs of their parents into a political movement, and that is what has happened to feminism, and that is what has happened to gay activism. It has become fanaticism. So this activist who was lesbian and atheist and feminist before those movements even existed is saying that the modern day mafia that does what it is doing so in the name of fanaticism, not for any type of just cause. 888-589-8840, your thoughts and reactions to the fact. You see, I think A&E's in trouble because when you get the lesbian dissident feminist agreeing with Phil Robertson, not on substance, but on the right to be able to say what they have on their mind, you're in trouble, A&E. I think you're going to lose the show. Maybe you should. I think that there would be several other networks that would take their 12 million weekly viewers in a heartbeat. Just like that. 888-589-8840. So that's the latest. I know everybody's interested in the latest, so I wanted to make sure that you had the latest in terms of the duck update. Don't pluck the duck. Ducks don't like to have their feathers plucked. Don't rub them the wrong way. Just let them do what they told you they were going to do. They told you they were going to be theologically conservative fundamentalist Christians that run a duck company, love God, pray, all the rest of it. Just let them be that. It's made you a lot of money. You didn't have to shut this down. This was all brought on by what you decided when you decided to capitulate to activists that did not have the best interest of you, the best interest of your audience, or the best interest of America at heart. Glad this group that brought this and tried to intimidate A&E into doing this immediately and was successful, they're nothing but a bunch of haters. They lie repetitively. They've created this cultural commentator accountability project is the name of it, and so they've said on that project, these are the people that lie about gays and homosexuals, and so you have to if you're a media network, you don't want to book any of these people. And they lied about this last night on Megyn Kelly's show. The whole purpose of that commentator accountability project when it was released was for the networks to hold accountable the spokespeople that they, GLAAD, didn't agree with. And guess what? The ultimate way they believe holding someone accountable is to get them fired off their show. That's what the guy who was on with Megyn from GLAAD argued last night. He said, look, we're not trying to tell people what to do. We just don't think you should have the right to say that and go without consequence. So what consequence do you want to see happen? Oh, you want to take his freedom to speak away. Oh, no, that's not what we want. Yeah, it is. Stop lying. Stop lying, GLAAD. So anyway, they've got this commentary accountability project going on. It's basically a who's who of people that have had courage to talk about the actual facts of how sexual activity in our lives should never be reason why a government should come in and give you preference. I shouldn't get lower prices at the gas pump simply because I choose to have sex with my wife. Nor should someone have an automatic first place in line at the grocery store simply because they have sex with their gay partner. You shouldn't be given privileges. You shouldn't be given advanced placement. You shouldn't be given preferential treatment simply because you engage in a certain type of sexual behavior. That's totally abject preferential bias, working in favor of the people that it prefers, and it works against everyone else, and it's unconstitutional. Now, they want to say, well, it's the cause of why I engage in that behavior that should be discussed. No, it's not. Look, you want to sleep with a frog? I don't care. It's none of my business. Just don't go reconstruct all of society around the idea that you having sex with your frog is okay. You want to wear purple polka dots all day? I don't care. Again, I have no dog in that fight. But you shouldn't get preferential treatment, and you shouldn't be able to execute punitive treatment against other people because you do. And this is the stuff that nobody will say in public. You don't have a right to be specially preferred because you choose to have sex a certain way. Now, that's not what Phil was saying in his article. What he was saying was the act of interacting in a homosexual basis, particularly for men, is not logical. That's all he said. He said it doesn't make sense to him. He didn't understand why that would be an attractive thing. Guess what? Men who prefer heterosexual activity, they're probably going to find homosexual activity to be illogical because it doesn't match. God created part A to go with part B. That's the way God made people. Now, that's logical. What Phil said is that it didn't make sense to him. And I think when this article comes out, when the whole thing finally comes out, I think people are going to be rather surprised at how not only not a big deal this was, but how winsome Phil Robertson actually is. I honestly do think that. Okay, a bunch of you want to weigh in on this. We're going to get to your calls. Also, the White House has issued its something card, and that plays into a dilemma I had this morning, and I want to share that with you as well. We'll get to all this and more coming up on AFA Today here on AFR Talk. I'm Kevin McCullough. You can reach me at kmcradio@gmail.com or on Facebook at afatoday.com. Stay with us.